The SledgeWomanHammer opening song, What the Water Gave Me by Florence and the Machine Chapter 1, Iceberg High resolute remnants of twilight shroud iceberg high as Rachel's SledgeWomanHammer forward strides through the school's wrought iron gates, the uranium sledgehammer resting effortlessly on her shoulder, a symbol of intergalactic power she wields with grace. Her decision to quell unearthly unrest conveys the metal that defines both her cosmic origin and her chosen mantle as teacher. Tilting the scales between worlds in the void of Alaska's perpetual nocturne, iceberg high seethes with phantasmal presences that stir with curiosity and malevolence at the cosmic being in their midst. Unbeknownst to the pervasive spirits, Rachel's very essence tellers a score of one demon lord unmade, her former universe obliterated in a collision of might and morality. Samantha Towns, the harbinger of unfolding malevolence, drifts through the pervasive shadows, the conjurer's unseen caress and insidious murmur within her thoughts. Her arrival heralds the conjurer's gambit, an insatiable demon seeking corporeal harvest within the fertile ground of a high school teeming with blossoming life and latent darkness. As Rachel navigates the labyrinthine corridors, her cosmic senses sharpen to an eerie resonance, detecting whispers of hexes and curses woven into the very walls of Iceberg High. Decades of spectral encroachments have transformed its once hallowed halls into a battleground of lingering souls shackled by wrath and despair. Oblivious to the paramount forces converging around her, novice students weave through the spectacle of Iceberg High's ostensible normalcy, their laughter clashing discordantly with the agonized echoes of souls ensnared within the domain's metaphysical fabric. The brewing tempest of cosmic and domestic tumult remains veiled for now. The acid man, his spectral visage a testament to the enduring malignancy of his mortal end, manifests his form within the chemistry laboratory. His presence threatens to contaminate the very foundation that harbors the school's fragile facade, vengeful intent searing every manifestation with acid-etched fury. Rachel's introduction to her students is a calculated revelation, maneuvering minds toward the confrontations to come. Each lesson, a subtle defense, intertwining history and science with warnings veiled within the narrative of past demises, cautions whispered on the drafts of her timeless sledgehammer's wake. Samantha's tenure at her new abode complicates the occupant's veiled tranquility, as the conjurer's vestige within her weaves subtle commands into her daily rituals, enigmatic drawings within class notes, distant whispers during lunch, all seeding the soil for the impending spectral upheaval. Within the scintillating void of Alaska's interminable night, Rachel exercises the extraordinary confines of her self-imposed teaching persona, revealing the complexities of human history, the intricacies of cultural enigma, all tantamount to preparing her charges for the war that simmers in the spirit's midst. The acid man, his once corporeal passion for chemistry now twisted to an infernal desire for destruction, infuses the school's environment with ethereal umbrage, the very foundations eroded by his spectral touch. His visage a stark reminder to the conjurer's puppeteer role, seeding chaos for his looming return. Unbeknownst to the students and faculty, the once frigid air now ignites with an intangible fervor, an oppressive energy drawn from the icebound earth, mirroring the conjurer's subtle ascension through Samantha's complicit binding, each malignant gaze a stroke on the canvas of impending doom. As Rachel delves into the local history of Iceberg High, a pattern of unwarranted demises and mysterious disappearances emerge, their weight only perceivable to Rachel's cosmic sensibilities. each undignified and a fragment to the oppressive mosaic painted by malevolence, a priory to the impending carnage. An unsuspecting teenager, Becky, withdraws a dated photo from her grandmother's collection, the image disturbingly evocative of Iceberg High. In it, she elucidates the visage of a teacher, spectral now, whose presence looms in the acid man's contorted rebirth, spelling peril for those entwined with the timeline of vengeance yet deferred. The brumal tundra encourages the macabre to entangle the living, and the spectral conjunctures converge, primeval resonances heighten at the dusk's foreboding approach. Secrets of the acid bath, now mythology, whisper their truths to the uranium hammer's custodian, charging her veins with an ageless resolve. Within the confines of her quarters, Rachel conducts an autopsy of the paranormal, cross-referencing relics and occult trinkets against an interplanetary database, each artifact a testament to the manifold terrors shrouding the school, her esoteric arsenal duplicating mundanity with lethal, mythic precision. The burgeoning enmity coalesces within the eclectic backdrop of an Iceberg High theater performance, where savants of the ominous and occult indulge their creativity. Unawares to the performers, their séance masquerades as entertainment, yet inadvertently beckons forth entities responsive to the conjurer's silent call. The ethereal whispers escalate to a phantasmagoric choir, as the mass surveillance of malignant spirits commingle with the unsuspecting audience. Their malevolent gaze locks on their next sinew to rend, as the spirit world and the entity of flesh and kinetics conflate, setting the stage for the war that looms in the overstated darkness. Underneath the moon's silhouette, the school finds itself primed for the convergence, its spirit-saturated walls reflecting an intangible luminescence. Samantha thwarts her own volition, a living pawn of the conjurer's bidding, aligning previous heralded spirits into an unseen phalanx, tethered to her will and the looming massacre. Galactic wisdom melds with earthly resolve as Rachel, armed with her uranium sledgehammer and an incipient plan, converges with her students within the swirling nether of Iceberg High's theater. The cool reverence of her command to dwell within yourselves, for tonight we battle the unseen, juxtaposes the impending malevolence. The echoes of the theater blend with phantasmal repartee, as the conjurer augments the spirit's formlessness with manifest malevolence. Ethereal contortions gird the spectral legion, their presence imposing on the fraying sanity of those yet grounded in the simplicity of corporeal existence. The acid man, consumed by the insatiable brine of his perdition, materializes within his former classroom, narratives of his mortal agonies, beyond speech now incarnated into a substance more corrosive than flesh, a toxicity-seeking conduit through which to etch his revenge. Rachel's cognitive architecture, a bastion of knowledge derived from galaxies beyond reckoning, orchestrates an elaborate espial, drawing upon ceremonial musings and the architectonics of ancient warlocks. Her pupils, unwitting conscripts, spell out the Huskarl's oath, binding themselves to the theater's floor, a pivotal safeguard against possession. As the ghastly assembly rouses from its spectral repose, the conjurer's legion begins to encroach upon the protected sanctum. Rachel, immersed in arcane evocation, thrusts her sledge against the lithic paragon, shattering the school's symbol of spirit binding and igniting a pulse of cosmic incandescence, a beacon against the impending darkness. With the ineffable crescendo of the conjurer's aria driving the broom of haunting ambience, the sanctum bristles with malevolence as the spirits converge, their ethereal storm coiling around Rachel and her clasped entourage, the acid man at their fore, his spectre inexorably drawn to the urn containing his accursed remains, an unwitting talisman of his ethereal form. Revenant and cosmic seeker face the clarion of their fates, Rachel poised with the uranium sledgehammer, its facets reflecting the edifice of lives cost in universes beyond, and the acid man, etching forth ghastly philters eager to rend what is corporeal still. The stage set in darkness, the acid-infused masonry loosens its sanctified grip, spirits thirsty for life uncaged once more. The gaze of the acid man, resplendent with the anguish of an infinite demise, lances through the fabric of time that constrains his spectral form. With ethereal hands seizing the urn, he unleashes a primal scream, an ultrasonic tumult that vaults through reality's nuances, shattering corporeal intermediaries, and resuscitating plain-crossed minions eager to inflict mortal sorrow. The titanium tumult of the uranium sledge resolves, its artificers synthesized with Rachel's undaunted will, cleaving through the younger horror's first, spectral shades rent in their incorporeal state. Meanwhile, in the crescendo of the supernatural symphony, the students break their bindings, an assemblage once unwitting, now in concert with the defender of other worlds. Radiant shards of the urn's fragmented seal intermingle with the Anthropocene energy fields, as the acid man orchestrates the spirit's benthic assault. Rachel, yielding her titanic implement, infuses the theatre with stellar aegis, quenching the ethereal melee in iridescent bounds, a cosmos of containment and dispel. The energies clashed in a tempestuous dance that ruptures mysteries and resolves the fates of Earth's eve. The conjurer screams within Samantha's mind, dissolving the tether that shackled the spirits to flesh and blood. As the screech wanes, the souls ascend, and consumed by sorrow, the acid man opposes, the final vestiges of his animating fury dispelled. The requiem for spirits fades alongside the muted auroras across the Arctic sky, the school rebuilt from the inside out through the convergence of a cosmic being and the remnants of a sordid past. Rachel, her students now aware of her tempestuous lineage, teaches one final lesson, that the spectres of the night may be quelled when humanity's light burns fervently against the dark. The bitter dreads of Alaska's prolonged nights yield to the halcyon embrace of another dawn, a testament written in the reconfigured stars, and on the chalkboards of Iceberg High, of spirits laid to rest, and of souls unfettered, parallel tales in the crucible of narrative design. Chapter 2: Finding a Purpose. After being a teacher at Iceberg High for a few years, Rachel felt that she was needed elsewhere. So she decided to travel through the states and help people there and established herself a champion of the people. She has met many different people along the way. But she missed her husband Raphael, her brother Danny and his wife Michelle, and her mother MIA. She found out they don't exist here, and she felt lonely. She would have relationships with men and women, but they wouldn't last long. I decided to go to Chicago and become a therapist and use things I learned in my past life to help people and help them solve the most complications in their lives, and in a few years, I would be well known, and I would have my TV show, and I decided not to go looking for trouble, and if trouble wanted me. I am right here, and why did I pick Chicago to settle in? It's because this surrounding area is full of unsolved murders and mysterious disappearances, and I will hear the screams and feel the misery that is near, and I will spring to action when needed. Chapter 3: The depths of fear in her therapist guise, Rachel Ford, A.K., the SledgeWomanHammer, meets Helen Lyle, a terrified graduate student plagued by nightmares and visions of Candyman. Rachel, empathizing with Helen's fear, vows to help her uncover the truth. Helen shares the chilling tale of Candyman's curse. Saying his name 5 times in front of a mirror summons him, resulting in grisly retribution. Rachel, skeptical, decides to investigate Helen's claims. As Rachel digs deeper into Candyman's legend, she uncovers a series of gruesome murders connected to his urban myth. She also finds a pattern that may reveal his true identity. Simultaneously, Rachel uses her TV show platform to explore fear and the psychology behind urban legends, hoping to reach out to Candyman's potential victims. Helen, driven by curiosity and fear, confronts Candyman's mirror in an abandoned cabin, reciting his name in a desperate attempt to prove her bravery. Helen barely escapes the encounter, traumatized and covered in blood. She reaches out to Rachel, admitting her mistake and seeking help. Rachel, sensing the escalating danger, summons her uranium sledgehammer, preparing to confront the supernatural forces threatening Helen. Candyman, enraged by their defiance, targets Rachel and Helen, materializing in their reality and leaving a trail of terror. Realizing Candyman's existence is tied to the mirror, Rachel and Helen smash all mirrors in the vicinity. Hoping to weaken his powers, the duo continues their desperate search for answers, piecing together clues from Candyman's past and his connection to the urban legend. As Helen becomes increasingly entangled in the supernatural web, Rachel fears for her safety and sanity, urging her to remain strong. Rachel and Helen unearth more about Candyman's tragic past and the origin of his curse, revealing a shocking betrayal. Helen and Rachel concoct a plan to put Candyman to rest, using his tragic past as the key to ending his vicious cycle. Helen, driven by a newfound sense of determination, confronts Candyman one last time, prepared to face the consequences. Rachel joins Helen in the final showdown, wielding her uranium sledgehammer against Candyman's supernatural might. In the climactic battle, Helen and Rachel manage to trap Candyman, exploiting his connection to the mirror. Rachel uses her cosmic powers to shatter the remaining mirror, severing Candyman's link to the physical world. Candyman, weakened and powerless, dissipates into the shadows, his menacing presence vanquished. Helen, overwhelmed by the ordeal, receives comfort and support from Rachel, who commends her courage, and in the aftermath, Helen and Rachel reflect on the lessons learned from their supernatural encounter. Rachel resumes her role as a TV therapist, sharing her experiences with Helen and offering guidance to her audience. Helen, inspired by Rachel's strength and wisdom, decides to pursue a career in psychology, hoping to help others facing their fears. Candyman's legend fades into obscurity, as the duo's victory helps heal the wounds of those affected by his terror. Rachel and Helen forge a strong bond, united by their shared victory over supernatural forces. Rachel's TV show gains even more popularity, as she continues to explore the depths of human fear and resilience. Helen, now a thriving psychologist, dedicates her career to helping those affected by urban legends and the supernatural. The city of Chicago experiences a rebirth, as the shadow of Candyman lifts, allowing light and hope to flourish. Rachel and Helen, now pillars of their respective communities, remain vigilant, prepared to face any new threats that may arise. As the sun sets over Chicago, Rachel and Helen stand together, embracing their roles as protectors and champions of humanity. With the darkness vanquished, Rachel and Helen look forward to a brighter future, forever bound by their extraordinary adventure. Chapter 4. The Elm Street Kids. Rachel had received an urgent plea from Dr. Neil Gordon, a psychotherapist from Springwood, seeking help for his frightened young patients. Intrigued, Rachel and her partner Helen Lyle, a fellow therapist, decide to join forces with Dr. Gordon to investigate the supernatural threat. Arriving in Springwood, the trio meets with Dr. Gordon, who shares the harrowing stories of his patients' shared nightmares featuring a disfigured man named Freddy Krueger. Rachel and Helen agree to help the children confront their fears, unaware of the darkness lurking in the shadows. As the sun sets, Rachel and Helen visit the first patient, a young girl named Tina. Tina's description of her nightmares unnerves Rachel, hinting at the sinister presence of Krueger. Helen, meanwhile, suspects there is more to the story than meets the eye. The duo continues their investigation, meeting with more of Dr. Gordon's patients, and hearing their haunting tales of Krueger's torment. Rachel and Helen begin to unravel the connection between the children and Krueger, realizing they must act swiftly to protect them. Helen suggests visiting the infamous Springwood boiler room, where Krueger met his demise. Rachel agrees, believing it may hold answers to stopping the supernatural menace. Armed with their courage, they venture into the heart of darkness. In the boiler room, Rachel and Helen discover remnants of Krueger's past, fueling their determination to end his reign of terror. Suddenly, they are confronted by a chilling vision of Krueger, who taunts them before vanishing, leaving them shaken, but more resolved than ever. Back at Dr. Gordon's clinic, the trio develops a plan to help the children confront their fears and weaken Krueger's grip. Rachel and Helen, drawing upon their unique abilities, prepare to face the nightmarish force head-on. As night falls, Rachel and Helen visit the first patient, Tina, and guide her through her fear of Krueger. Using her ultra-human strength and empathy, Rachel helps Tina stand up to her nightmares, weakening Krueger's hold over her. One by one, Rachel and Helen help Dr. Gordon's patients confront their fears, empowering them to reclaim their lives from Krueger's grasp. However, their efforts seem to only enrage the supernatural foe, who vows to exact his revenge. In the midst of their success, Krueger retaliates, targeting Rachel directly in a terrifying dream sequence. Rachel fights back, using her uranium sledgehammer to hold Krueger at bay, but realizes she must find a way to end his existence in both the dream and real worlds. Rachel and Helen regroup, sharing their harrowing experiences with Dr. Gordon. Together, they research Krueger's past, hoping to uncover a weakness they can exploit to defeat him once and for all. Their research leads them to the tragic story of Krueger's origins and the vengeful actions that led to his demise. Armed with newfound knowledge, Rachel, Helen, and Dr. Gordon devise a daring plan to banish Krueger forever. The trio puts their plan into motion, gathering the children and their families for a powerful ritual. As they join forces, Rachel, Helen, and Dr. Gordon led the charge against Krueger's dark influence. The ritual begins, and the combined power of the children and their families weakens Kruger's hold on the dream world. Rachel, Helen, and Dr. Gordon confronts the weakened Kruger, determined to end his reign of terror. In a final, epic battle, Rachel and Helen use their combined strength to banish Kruger from the dream world, while Dr. Gordon provides critical support from the real world. Kruger, realizing he is beaten, disappears, leaving the trio victorious. With Kruger vanquished, the children and their families celebrate their newfound freedom. Rachel, Helen, and Dr. Gordon shares a heartfelt moment, proud of what they've accomplished together. In the aftermath of their victory, Rachel and Helen reflect on their experiences in Springwood. They decide to continue helping those affected by superhuman issues, knowing they can make a difference together. Dr. Gordon, grateful for Rachel and Helen's help, invites them to stay in Springwood and collaborate on future projects. Rachel and Helen agree, excited to continue their work and explore new opportunities. As Rachel and Helen settle into their new surroundings, they begin to explore the town, meeting new people, and learning about its unique history. Along the way, they stumble upon a hidden supernatural threat, hinting at future adventures. Rachel and Helen, now well-known figures in Springwood, receive a request for help from a local family. A mysterious entity has been haunting their daughter, and they fear it is connected to a dark secret from their past. Rachel and Helen meet the family and learn about their daughter's harrowing experiences. Determined to help, they dive into the investigation, unearthing a web of supernatural intrigue and danger. As they dig deeper, Rachel and Helen uncover a long-forgotten legend about a vengeful spirit that has been awakened by the family's actions. To protect the daughter and put the spirit to rest, Rachel and Helen must confront their most challenging foe yet. Preparing for their battle, Rachel and Helen train and strategize, honing their skills and researching ancient lore. They know that only by working together can they hope to defeat this powerful, malevolent force. The night of the confrontation arrives, and Rachel, Helen, and the family gather to face the vengeful spirit. In a heart-pounding showdown, they use their combined strength to battle the entity, determined to set things right. The night of the confrontation arrives, and Rachel, Helen, and the family gather to face the vengeful spirit. In a heart-pounding showdown, they use their combined strength to battle the entity, determined to set things right. Despite their best efforts, Rachel and Helen find themselves struggling against the powerful spirit. In a moment of desperation, Rachel calls upon her ultra-human abilities to unleash a powerful blast, weakening the entity and giving Helen the opening she needs. Helen seizes the opportunity, using her psychotherapeutic skills to reach out to the spirit and help it find peace. With Rachel's support, they manage to calm the entity, allowing it to move on and release its hold on the family. With the vengeful spirit laid to rest, the family expresses their gratitude to Rachel and Helen, who are humbled by the experience. They realize that their unique abilities and partnership can make a difference in the lives of those in need. Rachel and Helen continue their work in Springwood, taking on new cases and challenges. As they grow in skill and reputation, they become a formidable team, respected and admired by their peers and the community. The duo faces new supernatural threats. They are reminded of the importance of their work and the lives they touch. Through their adventures, Rachel and Helen forge a deep bond, strengthened by their shared experiences and unwavering dedication to justice. 1 year later, Chapter 5, The Revenge of Freddy Krueger. The story rips open with a flashback to Rachel's triumphant battle against Freddy Krueger, now buried deep within her subconscious. Simultaneously, in Springwood, a mysterious figure watches over Tina, foreshadowing the sinister events to come. Tina, blissfully unaware of the danger lurking nearby, goes about her day while Freddy lies dormant, biding his time. Meanwhile, Rachel and Helen discuss Tina's case as Rachel's intuition stirs, a premonition of the darkness ahead. Freddy's presence makes itself known, infiltrating Tina's dreams in a horrific sequence of events. As Tina's nightmare escalates, Rachel senses her distress, prompting Helen to suggest a therapy session. During the therapy session, Tina recounts her terrifying dream, and Rachel picks up on the lingering traces of Freddy's presence. As the session ends, Helen shares her concern regarding the potential revival of the monstrous killer. Rachel grapples with the reality of Freddy's potential return, haunted by memories of their brutal confrontation. She confides in Helen, who offers her unwavering support as the duo strategizes against the imminent threat. Meanwhile, Freddy targets Dr. Neil Gordon, the man responsible for bringing Rachel and his victims together. Dr. Gordon's shock turns to fear as Freddy's chilling warning leaves him scarred and on edge. With Freddy's return imminent, Rachel and Helen fortify their defenses, preparing for the battle to come. Rachel's resolve to protect the innocent hardens as the darkness gathers around them. Freddy's sinister plan unfolds as he targets Tina in a brutal display of power and vengeance. As Tina's life hangs in the balance, Rachel's connection to her deepens, fueling her determination to end Freddy's reign once and for all. Tina's brutal murder shocks Springwood, drawing Rachel and her best friend Helen into the chilling investigation. Rachel's powers tingle and she says Freddy going to pay for this. Bodies count has risen all over Springwood. Haunted by nightmares of Freddy's victims, Rachel struggles to focus on her daily life. Despite Helen's support, Rachel's anxiety escalates as Freddy's presence looms over her every waking moment. In the dead of night, Freddy strikes, targeting Rachel directly. The two enemies clash, as Rachel's powers collide with Freddy's dark sorcery. A fierce battle ensues, testing Rachel's resolve and strength. Freddy sets up a trap for Rachel and says, "You think you can defeat me, bitch," and he lets his mutated dogs loose on her while he disappears into the darkness. Rachel is fueled by anger and drops her uranium sledgehammer, and decides to use her bare hands on the mutations, and she is smashing them to bits, and she lets out a primal roar, and her eyes are red as fire, and she wakes up and completely destroys her bedroom in a rage. Rachel and Helen formulate a plan to track down and eliminate Freddy once and for all. They study the patterns of the murders, scouring for any clues that may lead them to the vengeful spirit. The townsfolk live in terror, with more bodies discovered daily. Rachel, determined to put an end to the bloodshed. With each murder, Freddy's power grows, making it increasingly difficult for Rachel and Helen to track him down. They dig deeper into the town's history, uncovering dark secrets about Springwood. Helen learns that the townsfolk have been hiding the truth about Freddy's past, fearing the consequences of unearthing his origins. She shares this information with Rachel, urging her to confront the town's elders. Armed with newfound knowledge, Rachel and Helen delve deeper into the town's past, hoping to uncover a weakness they can exploit to defeat Freddy. Rachel and Helen's investigation leads them to a forgotten cemetery, where they discover a hidden grave bearing a cryptic inscription. They realize this could be the key to finally vanquishing Freddy. The duo returns to Springwood, determined to use the newfound information to their advantage. They set a trap for Freddy, hoping to end his vengeful rampage once and for all. Freddy takes the bait and confronts Rachel and Helen. A brutal battle ensues, with Rachel wielding her uranium sledgehammer, and Helen armed with a sword and armor against the vengeful Freddy. The battle rages on, with Rachel and Helen struggling to gain the upper hand against the relentless Freddy. Freddy unleashes a torrent of nightmarish horrors, testing Rachel and Helen's resolve. Helen and Rachel manage to fend off Freddy's assault, but at a great cost. Rachel realizes she must use her unique abilities to end the battle. Rachel uses her powers, unleashing a devastating attack that weakens Freddy. Rachel delivers the final blow with her uranium sledgehammer, seemingly vanquishing Freddy once and for all. The townsfolk celebrate the apparent defeat of Freddy Krueger, but Rachel and Helen remain vigilant, fearing his return. In the aftermath of their battle, Rachel and Helen tend to their wounds and contemplate the future. Helen discovers a hidden message within the cryptic inscription, revealing that Freddy may not be as defeated as they believed. Rachel and Helen confront the town elders, demanding the truth about the hidden message and Freddy's true fate. The elders reveal that Freddy Krueger has always had a way of returning, no matter how many times he is defeated. Rachel and Helen, determined to put an end to Freddy's reign of terror, vow to continue their pursuit of him, no matter the cost. Chapter 5. Sweet Nightmares. The narrative commences with Rachel, still haunted by her past battles with Freddy Krueger, as she tends to her latest patient, a teenage boy plagued by nightmares. Helen, who confesses her long-standing affection for Rachel, while she also helps the boy conquer his fears. Freddy orchestrates a sinister plan, weaving a web of darkness through the dreamscape. Freddy claims another victim, a grieving father left distraught by his son's untimely demise. The authorities scratch their heads, baffled by the lack of evidence. As Rachel and Helen navigate their deepening bond, Freddy strikes again, killing one of Rachel's patients and leaving her devastated. Rachel resumes her erotic relationship with Helen, using it as a source of comfort and strength. Rachel's newfound confidence in her sexuality bolsters her courage, enabling her to confront the darkness that lies within her own dreams. Freddy, enraged by Rachel's resilience, targets Helen in her dreams, forcing Rachel to confront her deepest fears. Helen, cornered by Freddy, summons the strength to resist his grasp, ultimately setting the stage for Rachel's arrival. Rachel and Helen's reunion in the dreamscape is short-lived, as Freddy and the Candyman join forces, intent on destroying Rachel once and for all. The Candyman, eager to prove his dominance, challenges Freddy to a gruesome duel, giving Rachel and Helen a chance to escape. Rachel and Helen regroup, devising a plan to exploit the chasm between Freddy and the Candyman, hoping to use it to their advantage. Rachel and Helen launch a daring assault on Freddy's lair, using their combined strength to battle through his nightmarish defenses. Rachel and Helen's love for one another blossoms amidst the chaos, providing a much-needed beacon of hope in the face of insurmountable odds. Freddie, relishing the opportunity to destroy Rachel, unleashes a barrage of attacks, pushing her to the brink of despair. Helen, determined not to lose Rachel, rallies beside her, providing the support Rachel needs to push forward. The Candyman, having defeated Freddie, is consumed by his own power, leaving Rachel and Helen to face the aftermath of their catastrophic encounter. As the dust settles, Rachel and Helen emerge victorious, their love stronger than ever. In the wake of their triumph, Rachel and Helen forge a new path together, determined to leave their nightmarish past behind. Rachel and Helen, now inseparable, rebuild their lives, finding solace in each other's embrace. As Rachel and Helen settle into their newfound happiness, Freddie's spectre lingers, hinting at a possible resurgence. Rachel and Helen, aware of Freddie's potential return, remain ever vigilant, prepared to face him should he re-emerge. Rachel, haunted by the memories of her past battles with Freddie, seeks solace in her relationship with Helen. The couple, rekindling their passion, embark on a new chapter in their lives, filled with love and devoid of fear. Freddie, lurking in the shadows, bides his time, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Chapter 6. Rachel's sorrow. Rachel and Helen's lives intertwine, they forge an unbreakable bond, a testament to their resilience and love, now a symbol of hope and defiance, standing tall against the encroaching darkness. Rachel and Helen's arrival at their Caribbean haven, their simmering passion palpable in each stolen glance, foreshadowing the intricate dance of love and guilt that awaits. Amid the crystal waters, Helen's hands explore Rachel's body, awakening desires long buried beneath her sledgehammer woman persona, hinting at the psychological turmoil to come. As Helen cradles Rachel, her touch both soothing and arousing, she senses Rachel's turmoil, vowing to help heal the wounds that Freddie left behind. In the dimly lit corners of their beachside abode, Helen and Rachel embrace, their bodies entwined, the darkness a reminder of the terrors that lurk in the recesses of Rachel's mind. Helen's fingers trace the lines of Rachel's scars, her lips brushing against the marks Kruger left behind, her love a balm for Rachel's tormented soul. As the days pass, Helen and Rachel's lovemaking becomes a conduit for healing, the boundaries between pleasure and pain blurred, mirroring the dichotomy of their tropical paradise and Rachel's haunted. Late one night, Rachel awakens from a nightmare, Freddy Krueger's laughter echoing in her ears, prompting Helen to offer comfort and solidarity in the face of Rachel's deepest fears. Helen's gentle caresses and whispered words of encouragement guide Rachel through her fears, their connection deepening as they confront the darkness together. As the days pass, Helen and Rachel's lovemaking becomes a conduit for healing, the boundaries between pleasure and pain blurred, mirroring the dichotomy of their tropical paradise and Rachel's haunted psyche. Rachel and Helen revel in their erotic paradise, embracing their love on the sun-kissed beaches. But Rachel's PTSD from Freddy Krueger's reign of terror casts a dark shadow over their idyllic retreat. As Rachel's nightmares intensify, Helen takes it upon herself to help Rachel confront her fears and soothe her tormented soul. Their lovemaking becomes an act of healing and solace amidst the chaos. In a passionate encounter, Helen and Rachel share their dark secrets, forging an unbreakable bond as they face the horrors that haunt Rachel's past and threaten their future together. Rachel feels that she's at her lowest and she cries herself to sleep, and she dreams and she asks for help from father to help her get through this bad patch, and Cameron Ford, who is sleeping with his model girlfriend Paulina, next to him in the DC Earth 1 and begins dreaming, and he hears his daughter call to him from another dimension, and he sees her standing in a hotel room that she completely destroys in front of him with tears on her face, and she says, "Daddy, I never ask you for anything, but I really need your wisdom now." Rachel says, "Yes, your first wife. Mom told me she was a great woman and a badass in her own right." Cameron says, "When I lost her, it's broke me. I lived in my head for months, and it's made me look at Journey, and I realize I felt that before. Years before I met Rachel, I was a part of another universe, which I born there, and mother was killed by the fucking Joker, and Rachel is shocked." Cameron continues to say, "When that happened, I went on a rampage, even fought my allies Batman and Superman. Yeah, your daddy fought Superman actually twice in this new universe where I am at. I actually killed him." Rachel looked confused and says, "What the fuck, why?" "He went mad after he lost his wife to the fucking Joker, just like the Joker killed my mom, then I lose my wife Rachel, your mom and you. But the difference between me and Superman is I didn't lose myself where I decided to kill innocent people, and don't get me wrong, I killed a lot of people in my pursuit of vengeance, and maybe a few bystanders got hurt. But I took responsible for it. I been on my last legs and depressed. Just because we got power, skill and all these abilities that we aren't immune to being human. But baby girl, loss is a part of life, and sometimes you can prevent it. Sometimes you cause it, and sometimes you got no choice but to accept it. Even you weren't who you are. Loss is still there, but the main thing, Rachel Yancey Ford, my beautiful daughter, is that you don't lose yourself and forget that you have greatest in you. Now you are a powerful fucking being, more powerful than ever was. Your mother was a fucking force to be reckoning with. A power dark sources mixed with my enhanced super blood makes you a fucking hurricane, baby. Like you said, you fucking killed Lucifer. You should have no problem killing that burnt hot dog piece of shit." Rachel says, "I hear you, Daddy. But I fought like hell the first time, then second time, then third time, then fourth time, then the fifth time, when I thought he was gone for good." Cameron says the dream world is his domain. "When I fought Vaylor in hell, he was completely different, more evil, more powerful, and had a lot of demons under his command, but on Earth, he was bound by certain rules that he couldn't obey, and I did fought him the first time, he nearly killed me, but the second time I went all out and he was powerful. We both was fucked up in that fight, but my Rachel jumped in the fight and saved me. She wasn't stronger than him, it's just that she was determined not to let him kill me, but I got off topic. Hell was Vaylor's domain, just like Lucifer. They are very powerful in their domain, but on Earth they have to be in human bodies. But they are limited, so what I mean is that you got to get Freddy out of the dream world into reality." Rachel says, "I see, that would be a good recourse. But if I kill him in reality, won't he just go back to the dream world, and it will start all over again?" Cameron says, "Yes, that could happen again like that." Rachel says, "Fuck, how to kill this fucker?" Cameron eating peanuts and says, "I let you in on a family, well, your dad is secret. I dealt with a lot of fuckers that wouldn't die, or wouldn't stay fucking dead, or didn't know how to kill them. So I either boiled them in acid, flew them to the sun, buried them alive on Mars or Jupiter, or wherever I felt like it. Rachel says you buried someone alive on Mars. Cameron says probably more than 8 unkillable fuckers are buried somewhere out there. I got fuckers buried almost on 9 planets. Rachel drinks her beer and damn, Dad, you are a serial killer. Cameron says the main thing, if you can find a way to get rid of him for good, then that just some ways to deal with it. Rachel says you gave me a lot of advice, and I really enjoy talking to you. I watched all the videos that made for me and you had lots. Cameron says I wanted to have something for every mood, every occasion. I want to be there for you. I should have stayed. I lost so much time. You and me are same fucking age. That's crazy. Rachel says you know what else is crazy, we both sleeping in different universes, and we are both in each other dreams. Cameron says yeah, maybe the universe gave us this one moment to see each other. I hope I gave you some good advice and I hope it's helped you. Rachel says I love you, Dad, and thanks for everything and including that awesome hammer. Cameron hugs Rachel and says you are the legacy of the sledgehammer, I am no longer the sledgehammer. I am Infant Man, your father and daughter, anyone that fuck with you or girlfriend, you take your hammer and you smash their fucking brains in. Rachel says Roger that, Infant Man. Cameron wakes up in his universe to a kiss from his naked girlfriend, Paulina, and Rachel wakes up in her universe from a passionate kiss from her girlfriend, Helen, and Helen says you look like you are drunk. Rachel says I am drunk for you, and they make love while the sun is rising. Chapter 8. The final straw. Rachel grapples with her father's enigmatic guidance, delving deeper into her fears and insecurities, as Helen remains steadfast in her support, fueling Rachel's determination. Helen and Rachel practice the art of lucid dreaming, honing their skills to control their dreams and prepare for the impending confrontation with Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger, undeterred by his previous defeat, prowls Rachel's nightmares, exploiting her weaknesses and threatening the lives of those she holds dear. Rachel and Helen forge a psychic connection, empowering Rachel to draw strength from Helen's love in the face of her greatest fears and darkest demons. As Rachel and Helen navigate their shared dreams, they unravel a sinister plot conceived by Freddy Krueger to infiltrate the waking world and wreak havoc on the innocent. Rachel and Helen begin their investigation, visiting the Elm Street families and piecing together Freddy's recent activities. As they dig deeper, they discover the new host, Emily Voorhees, who inadvertently unleashed Freddy's fury. Rachel confronts Emily, learning about her possession and the lingering effects of Freddy's influence. Rachel decides to face Freddy in the dream world, determined to protect the innocent. Rachel and Helen prepare for the impending confrontation, gathering knowledge about Freddy's origins and weaknesses. Helen discovers a forgotten connection between Freddy and Rachel's father, Infinite Man. Helen shares her findings with Rachel, who becomes increasingly determined to end Freddy's reign of terror once and for all. The duo strategizes, combining their unique abilities to give Rachel the edge she needs in the dream world. Rachel enters the dream world, finding herself in a twisted, nightmarish version of Springwood. She navigates the eerie landscape, searching for Freddy and preparing for their confrontation. Rachel locates Freddy, who gloats about his successful return and taunts Rachel about her father. Enraged, Rachel charges forward, her uranium sledgehammer glowing with power. The battle between Rachel and Freddie rages on, with neither gaining the upper hand. Rachel's determination to protect her loved ones, as well as her father's legacy, fuels her strength. Freddie reveals his connection to Infinite Man, hinting at a deeper, darker past. As Rachel struggles to comprehend this revelation, Freddie takes advantage of her distraction and lands a powerful blow. Rachel, dazed and injured, recalls her father's words of encouragement. Drawing on her inner reserves, she rallies and renews her attack on Freddie. Rachel and Freddie exchange blows, their powers clashing violently. Rachel's determination to end Freddie's reign becomes unyielding, fueling her strength and resolve. As the battle reaches its climax, Rachel manages to disarm Freddie, leaving him vulnerable. She readies her uranium sledgehammer for the final blow. Just as Rachel is about to strike, she hesitates, haunted by Freddie's revelations about her father. Freddie uses the opportunity to briefly regain the upper hand. Rachel realizes that sparing Freddie would only prolong the suffering of the Elm Street teenagers. She decides to end his reign, once and for all, for her father's sake and the sake of the innocent. Rachel lands the final blow, destroying Freddie. She emerges from the dream world, battered but victorious. The Elm Street teenagers and their families are finally safe. In the aftermath of the battle, Rachel and Helen attend to Rachel's injuries. They reflect on the battle and the connection between Rachel's father and Freddie. Rachel and Helen decide to investigate Freddie's origins further, seeking to uncover the truth behind the dark connection to Infinite Man. Rachel uses her cosmic powers to triangulate Infinite Man's dreams to cross over in the DC universe, seeking answers from Infinite Man himself. Cameron Ford was shocked that Rachel found him, and he meets Helen, and Cameron shares the story of his encounter with Freddie in hell. Infinite Man reveals that he and Freddie share a dark past, which ultimately led to their confrontation in hell. He shares the knowledge he gained from their encounter. Rachel and Helen return to Springwood, armed with newfound knowledge about Freddie's origins. They seek to protect the town from any future threats. Rachel and Helen continue their work as therapists, using their experiences to help the Elm Street teenagers heal from their traumas. Rachel, Helen, and Infinite Man form a pact to protect Springwood from any future threats, ensuring the safety of the Elm Street teenagers and their families. As Rachel and Helen delve deeper into the mystery, they discover new threats emerging in Springwood, suggesting that Freddie's influence still lingers. Rachel and Helen meet Emily's parents, who share their fears and struggles in dealing with their possessed daughter. Emily, under Freddie's control, brutally attacks her parents, revealing the extent of Freddie's power and malevolence. Rachel and Helen decide to confront Freddie in the dream world, unsure of the terrors that await them. Armed with her signature sledgehammer, Rachel enters Emily's mind, navigating a nightmarish landscape filled with cryptic symbols and twisted memories. Helen searches for Emily's true self, hoping to free her from Freddie's grasp and weaken his hold on the dream world. Infinite Man, Rachel's father and a powerful cosmic entity, senses his daughter's distress and begins his own preparations for war against Freddy Krueger. Emily's parents, desperate to save their daughter, rally the townsfolk, seeking help from a local priest and a group of paranormal investigators. Freddy, aware of Rachel's intrusion, unleashes a horde of demonic minions to stop her from reaching Emily. Helen fights alongside Rachel, employing her cunning and resourcefulness to fend off the terrifying creatures. In the real world, Emily's parents and the paranormal investigators attempt a dangerous exorcism, hoping to expel Freddy from their daughter. Freddy, enraged by the exorcism, retaliates, causing chaos and destruction in Springwood. Infinite Man arrives in the nightmarish version of Springwood, engaging Freddy in an epic battle in the dream world as Rachel and Helen continue their search for Emily. In the midst of their search, Rachel and Helen discover this universe's Anthony Vela, the Devil's son also known as King of the Reapers, who has been secretly manipulating events in Springwood. Rachel and Helen learn that Freddy Krueger has been working with Anthony Vela, revealing a deeper, more sinister conspiracy. The song, Face to the Floor by Chevelle is playing. Infinite Man sees Vela walking around and says, "Didn't I kill your ass already?" And Vela says, "Who the fuck are you?" And Infinite Man charges with his razor claws and jams it inside of Anthony Vela, and tears him in two halves and says, "Damn, that was too easy," and with the claws out he turns his attention back to Freddy Krueger, prepared to end the demon's reign of terror once and for all. Freddy, desperate to survive, unleashes his deadliest powers, pushing Infinite Man to his limits. Rachel and Helen, facing seemingly insurmountable odds, dig deep and discover hidden reserves of strength and determination. In a climactic battle, Infinite Man and Freddy Krueger are fighting at 1428 Elm Street, and Infinite Man just throws Freddy Krueger through the front door of the house. Freddy jumps up and begins slashing at Infinite Man, and Infinite Man laughs and runs Freddy Krueger through a wall, and then pick him through him another wall, and Infinite Man brand his claws and says, "Come on now, you fucking burn son of a bitch," and Freddy gets up and heals himself and says, "This is my world. You don't belong here, Cameron. This is between me and your little bitch," and he flicks his razor gloves and Infinite Man flies towards him and jams his claws inside of him, and wakes up with Freddy inside his bedroom in his world and slams him on the floor, and retract his claws, and Freddy looks around and Cameron looks at him, says, "Yeah, this is real," and Freddy gets up and tries to attack Cameron, and Cameron dodges him and slaps him to the floor. Cameron grabs a sheet off the bed and ties up Freddy and drags him from his mansion and puts him in the trunk of his Jaguar, and driving to Arkham Asylum, is thinking that this was best course of action. He senses of Freddy's return, so he decided to bring him to his world to protect Rachel and Helen from the demon's vengeance. Cameron opens the trunk. Freddy tries to jump Cameron, but met with 3 orderlies and a taser, and they dragged him to a cell room next to Killer Croc, Scarecrow and Clawface. Freddy Krueger's glove is still on the floor in Cameron's mansion until his adopted daughter Lily picks it up. Back in Springwood, Emily's parents, still haunted by their experiences, discover that their daughter has been forever changed by Freddy's possession. Emily's parents and the townsfolk, grateful for Rachel and Helen's bravery, hold a celebration in their honor. Rachel and Helen begin to rebuild their lives, hoping to put the horrors of Springwood behind them. Cameron meets up Rachel and Helen in the dream world to tell her what he did with Freddy, and it's best we stay out of each other's dreams just in case they say their goodbyes, and that Freddy is his problem now. Chapter 9. Survivor's Remorse. Rachel Ford grapples with guilt over her father's sacrifice, seeking to prove her strength by helping supernatural survivors on her TV platform. Rachel encounters the Crystal Lake survivors' harrowing tales of Jason's relentless pursuit, fueling her determination to put an end to the horror. Creighton Duke reaches out to Rachel, proposing an alliance to eliminate Jason Voorhees, as the survivors grapple with the horrors they've experienced. Spring breakers arrive at Crystal Lake, blissfully unaware of the bloodshed that awaits them, while Rachel prepares to confront Jason, and she decided to leave her uranium sledgehammer behind to prove to herself that she is a fighter. Jason begins his brutal massacre of the Spring Breakers, as Rachel and her team delve into Jason's twisted psyche and origins. Rachel and Helen devise a plan to draw Jason out of hiding, while the remaining Spring Breakers fight for their lives. Rachel and Creighton Duke put their plan into action, as Jason continues his relentless slaughter of the unsuspecting victims at Crystal Lake. The survivors join Rachel in her quest to end Jason's reign of terror, forging a bond in their shared trauma. Armed with knowledge of Jason's weaknesses, Rachel and her team engage in a brutal battle, determined to bring Jason down once and for all. The survivors join Rachel in her quest to end Jason's reign of terror, forging a bond in their shared trauma. The survivors confront their own fears and insecurities, drawing on their strength and resilience to fight against the seemingly unstoppable force. Jason retaliates with brutal force, pushing the survivors to their limits as they struggle to hold their ground. Rachel and her team manage to inflict serious damage on Jason, but will it be enough to stop him? The survivors regroup, tending to their wounds as they reflect on the sacrifices made in their quest for vengeance. Rachel contemplates her own motivations, struggling with the weight of her guilt and the cost of her vengeance. The survivors and Rachel prepare for a final confrontation, knowing that they must end Jason's existence for Rachel and her team to launch their final assault on Jason, determined to protect the innocent and end the cycle of violence. The survivors and Rachel push themselves to their breaking points, fighting with every ounce of their strength. Rachel and her team manage to overpower Jason, but can they truly end his existence? Rachel confronts the darkness within herself, seeking redemption and closure for her own traumas. Rachel and her team stand victorious over Jason's defeated form, but at what cost? Rachel reflects on her journey, finding solace in the strength of the survivors and the power of their resilience. Rachel and the survivors part ways, each carrying the scars of their experiences and the lessons they've learned. Chapter 10: Emily's Wrath. Before they could leave Crystal Lake, Jason returns, more powerful and dangerous than ever. As the survivors reminisce about their past experiences, Jason suddenly bursts through the hotel, slaughtering a few of the survivors and leaving the rest in a state of sheer terror. Rachel and Helen manage to escape, but not before Jason breaks Creighton Duke in half, leaving him for dead. It reveals the Emily Voorhees is responsible for all this carnage, as she is staring at Rachel and Helen escape the hotel. Emily, plagued by her dark past, torments Rachel in their shared dreamscape. Emily's newfound powers, derived from Freddy Krueger, surface, hinting at the coming terror. Rachel and Helen discover eerie remnants of their previous ordeal, with Emily evoking haunting memories and the dread of impending doom. As night descends upon the lake, the vengeful spirit of Emily's mother rises, heralding the arrival of her malevolent puppeteer. The undead duo of Jason and Emily's mother wreak havoc on the unsuspecting homes around Crystal Lake, leaving a trail of destruction and terror in their wake. Rachel and Helen venture further into the night. Helen and Rachel uncover clues hinting Emily is armed with Freddy Krueger's deadly abilities. The pair finds solace in a hidden cabin, where they unearth an ancient tome containing secrets to combat the supernatural forces threatening their lives. Driven by courage and determination, Rachel and Helen embark on a treacherous journey to harness the power of the arcane tome, preparing for the ultimate battle against Emily and her undead family. In an intense scene, the couple confronts the lingering spirits of Jason and Emily's mother in a fierce battle, pushing their newfound abilities to the limit. Rachel and Helen emerge victorious, if only briefly, as they successfully banish the vengeful spirits back to the depths from which they came. The duo's respite is short-lived, as Emily herself descends upon the cabin, hell-bent on exacting her vengeance against Rachel. In an exhilarating battle, Rachel and Emily clash, their powers evenly matched, yet Emily's unfathomable connection to Freddy Krueger threatens to tip the scales in her favor. Desperate to save Helen from Emily's wrath, Rachel employs every ounce of her strength, plunging them both into a harrowing dreamscape. Rachel and Emily's battle continues in the dream realm, a surreal landscape reflecting the twisted depths of their psyches. The dreamscape's reality begins to unravel around them, hinting at the existence of a cosmic force orchestrating the horrifying events that have transpired. Rachel and Emily's battle reaches a fever pitch, their powers locked in a devastating struggle, as the cosmic force's influence intensifies. Amidst the chaos, Rachel formulates a daring plan to separate Emily from Freddy Krueger's influence, potentially freeing her from her vengeful path. In a climactic moment, Rachel enacts her plan, putting herself in grave danger to save Emily, while Helen faces an uncertain fate in the real world. The cosmic force's true nature is revealed, as the battle transcends the dreamscape, drawing in both Helen and Rachel's physical selves. The quartet of women faces a monstrous manifestation of the cosmic force, as the battle reaches its crescendo, threatening to consume them all. With time running out, Rachel and Helen summon every ounce of strength, refusing to yield to the seemingly unstoppable cosmic force. In a stunning turn of events, Rachel and Helen successfully separate Emily from Freddy Krueger's influence, rendering the cosmic force vulnerable. The cosmic force, weakened, is finally defeated, as Emily finds solace in the realization that vengeance will not quell her inner turmoil. The group escapes the confines of the dreamscape, as a peaceful resolution is reached, offering closure to the horrors they've faced. Rachel, Helen, and Emily, united by their shared ordeal, forge a lasting bond, affirming their love and friendship against the backdrop of the now tranquil Camp Crystal Lake. As the sun rises, the once haunted Camp Crystal Lake finds a renewed sense of hope, symbolizing the triumph of love and resilience over darkness and vengeance. Chapter 10. The final sacrifice. 6 months later, Emily Voorhees, tormented by her family's past, visits the site of their gruesome murders at Crystal Lake, seeking closure. As she stands by the lake, a hand shoots out from beneath the water, pulling Emily under, only to reveal her undead mother, Pamela Voorhees, who whispers of vengeance against Rachel Ford. In Chicago, Rachel faces her daily life as a TV therapist, while Emily's vengeful mother arrives in the city, tracking down Rachel's loved ones. Emily's undead mother targets Helen, attacking her at her apartment. Helen narrowly escapes and seeks refuge with Rachel. A tense conversation between Rachel and Helen reveals their shared fears and determination to confront the evil that threatens them. Helen researches the Voorhees family's curse, discovering that the only way to send Pamela back to hell involves a perilous journey through a nightmarish realm. Rachel and Helen embark on their harrowing quest, facing gruesome creatures and incomprehensible horrors, testing their resolve and pushing them to their limits. After overcoming several trials, the couple uncovers the means to banish Pamela, but not before she claims her first Chicago victim. Rachel and Helen race against time, attempting to thwart Pamela's vengeful rampage and protect the city, but the odds seem insurmountable. In a brutal confrontation, Rachel squares off against Pamela, wielding her uranium sledgehammer, while Helen uses her cunning to buy Rachel the time she needs. Rachel and Pamela engage in a fierce battle, their powers clashing in a cosmic storm, as Helen struggles to complete the banishment ritual. Helen successfully completes the ritual, opening a portal to hell, but not before Pamela lands a devastating blow on Rachel. With only a small time window open, Rachel spears Pamela with her uranium sledgehammer into the hellish portal, sacrificing herself to protect Helen and Chicago. Overcome with grief, Helen mourns Rachel, vowing to honor her memory and continue the fight against supernatural forces. A portal opens up and Helen thinks it's Rachel, but it's Jason Voorhees emerges from the hellish portal, seeking vengeance for his mother's demise. Jason's return shocks Helen, who must now confront the unstoppable force of his vengeance. Helen faces the unimaginable, battling the relentless Jason in a desperate attempt to avenge Rachel and protect the city. Despite her best efforts, Helen is brutally overpowered by Jason, who shows no mercy as he hunts down the remaining targets close to Rachel. Realizing the futility of fighting alone, Helen devises a risky plan to reunite Jason with his mother in hell, hoping it will end his rampage once and for all. Helen lures Jason into the hellish portal, sending him back to the fiery abyss, but not before he takes his revenge on Helen. Rachel, who is all covered in blood, pops through the hellish portal, and she puts the uranium sledgehammer around the neck of Jason, and Rachel screams out, "Close the portal." Helen closes the portal. Helen drops to her knees and blood is gushing out of wounds, and she screams out, "Rachel." Helen dies. Chapter 11. Hellbound Awakening in Hell. Rachel surveys the fiery landscape, gripping her uranium sledgehammer tightly, and contemplates her mission to find a way home, no matter the cost. Rachel encounters a grotesque, fire-breathing demon, sparking a brutal fight for survival. Her relentless strength and skill, however, offer a glimmer of hope. Hell's nightmarish creatures observe Rachel from the shadows, sensing an opportunity to challenge the powerful intruder. She remains vigilant, her determination unwavering. Rachel stumbles upon a horde of demonic minions, her sledgehammer ringing with each mighty blow. She fights her way through, fueled by her yearning for home. Navigating the labyrinthine maze of hell, Rachel discovers a cryptic map, possibly her ticket out of this fiery abyss. A sinister force manipulates the environment around Rachel, testing her wit and adaptability in this ever-shifting landscape. Rachel's recollections of her past adventures in hell resurface, steeling her resolve as she confronts the formidable challenges ahead. As she contemplates her fate, a monstrous creature approaches, intent on her demise. Rachel summons her dormant powers, unleashing a spectacular display of cosmic energy that obliterates the beast, alerting Hell's formidable overlords to her presence. The overlords dispatch a legion of nightmarish minions to eliminate Rachel, who fights back with ferocity and cunning, turning the tide of battle in her favor. A respite in the carnage reveals a cryptic map etched on a stone, hinting at a hidden path to freedom. Rachel follows the trail, delving deeper into Hell's twisted labyrinth. The labyrinth's twisting corridors lead Rachel to a grotesque chamber, where she encounters the vile, three-headed guardian of the underworld's secrets. Rachel engages the monstrous guardian in a brutal, no-holds-barred battle, pushing her godlike powers to their limits. Exhausted and battered, Rachel emerges victorious, claiming the Guardian's enchanted trident, her ticket to the hidden path. Rachel traverses the treacherous, shadowy passage, eluding Hell's relentless minions and overcoming seemingly insurmountable obstacles. At the passage's end, she discovers a massive, ancient door, sealed by a bizarre, otherworldly lock. Rachel must now unravel its complex mysteries to proceed. Employing her infinite intellect, Rachel deciphers the lock's arcane symbols, unlocking a trove of dark, long-forgotten knowledge. The door creaks open, revealing a nightmarish landscape, a wasteland of tormented souls and unspeakable horrors. Rachel ventures forth, determined to reclaim her freedom. In this gruesome realm, Rachel encounters a coven of twisted, spectral witches, hell-bent on obstructing her path and adding her to their malevolent ranks. The witches' sinister incantations summon a horde of undead warriors, forcing Rachel to engage in an epic, supernatural battle for her very soul. Rachel unleashes her ultimate cosmic powers, annihilating the undead horde and scattering the coven in terror. With the witch's dark influence quelled, Rachel presses on, navigating the treacherous landscape in search of a way back to the mortal realm. Along her journey, Rachel encounters a trapped, tormented soul, bound by unseen chains. She feels compelled to help, but doing so may jeopardize her own escape. Rachel frees the soul, who reveals himself as a powerful, celestial being, imprisoned eons ago by Hell's dark forces. The celestial being, grateful for Rachel's intervention, offers to aid her in her quest, using his divine powers to open a portal back to the mortal realm. Together, they forge through Hell's twisted dimensions, evading hordes of nightmarish creatures, and overcoming seemingly insurmountable barriers. At the precipice of victory, a sinister, ancient deity emerges, intent on thwarting Rachel's escape and plunging her back into eternal torment. The celestial being sacrifices himself, allowing Rachel to gain the upper hand against the deity, buying her the crucial moments she needs to enact her escape. Rachel charges towards the portal, narrowly evading the deity's deadly grasp, and steps into the mortal realm once more. In the mortal realm, Rachel reflects on her harrowing journey and the friends she made along the way, vowing never to forget the horrors she witnessed in the depths of hell. Rachel's cosmic powers, diminished after her ordeal, begin to rejuvenate, signaling her imminent return to her full, godlike potential. Rachel returns to her life, but only to find Helen dead, and grabs Helen's body and starts crying, and she realizes that she is forever changed by her experiences, haunted by the memories of the souls she could not save and the eternal torment she narrowly escaped. Despite the horrors she endured and the people she lost, she remembered her father's advice about loss. Rachel resumes her role as a protector, vowing to use her powers for good and prevent the spread of darkness in the world. In time, Rachel's cosmic powers reach their zenith, and she becomes a formidable force for justice and righteousness, striking fear into the hearts of evildoers everywhere. Yet, the scars of her time in hell remain, a constant reminder of the darkness that lies beneath the surface, threatening to consume her should she let her guard down. Rachel continues her eternal struggle against the forces of darkness, ever vigilant against the threats that lurk in the shadows. Chapter 12. The Ballad of Billy Hill. The story opens with a flashback of young Billy Hill witnessing his parents' murder by the thorn. Present day, Billy receives news that his wife Jamie Myers has been killed. Devastated by Jamie's death, Billy contacts Rachel Ford for help. He shares his suspicion that the thorn might be behind the murder. Rachel agrees to assist Billy, intrigued by the connection between the thorn and Michael Myers. They begin their investigation. Rachel and Billy uncover evidence linking the thorn to several recent murders, suggesting a resurgence of their deadly activities. As they dig deeper, they discover Michael Myers' involvement in the thorn's rituals, confirming Billy's fears. Rachel and Billy decide to confront Michael Myers and the thorn, preparing for a gruesome battle. They track down the thorn's hideout, a remote compound filled with their sinister paraphernalia. Rachel and Billy infiltrate the compound, finding clues about the thorn's rituals and their twisted connection to Michael Myers. They stumble upon a hidden chamber, where they find a shocking connection between Michael Myers and the thorn's leader, who is Dr. Samuel Loomis. Rachel and Billy are ambushed by the thorn members, leading to a brutal. Despite being outnumbered, Billy and Rachel manage to overpower their attackers, showing their determination. In the midst of the chaos, Michael Myers appears, signaling a larger confrontation. Rachel and Billy regroup, knowing they must face Michael Myers and Dr. Loomis together. Billy pulls out his Desert Eagle and starts blasting at the thorn members. The final battle begins, with Rachel and Billy fighting against Michael Myers and Dr. Loomis. Rachel and Billy suffer heavy blows, but their resolve to end the thorn and Michael Myers' reign of terror keeps them going. Billy is using his military combat skills on Michael Myers, trying to subdue him, and he is fighting fuel with rage, and Rachel is impressed with Billy, and he reminds her of her dead husband. Rachel turns her attention to Dr. Loomis, who made himself stronger with the power of the thorn. In a surprising turn of events, Rachel reveals her ultra-cosmic powers, previously hidden, to even the odds. Rachel eradicated Dr. Loomis with her powers, and Rachel tosses Billy her uranium sledgehammer, and beats the hell out of Michael Myers, and with a final blow he caves in Michael's skull, and his mask impaled in his face. Billy continues smashing Michael's body to make sure he is dead. With their mission accomplished, Billy takes a moment to mourn Jamie's death and honor his parents' memory. Rachel consoles Billy, expressing her admiration for his strength and resilience. Billy and Rachel leave the compound. In the aftermath, Billy and Rachel reflect on their journey, acknowledging the scars it has left on them. They vow to use their experiences to help others, becoming a formidable force against supernatural threats. Back in civilization, Billy and Rachel part ways, but not before promising to reunite when needed. Billy returns to his FBI duties, carrying the knowledge of the Thorn and Michael Myers defeat. Rachel resumes her TV therapist role, keeping her ultra-cosmic powers a secret while staying vigilant for new threats. 3 months later, Chapter 13, Love at the End of the Tunnel. Billy arrives in Chicago, eager to see Rachel and reconnect with her. He visits her TV show set, where she is surprised and overjoyed to see him. Rachel takes Billy out for dinner, where they reminisce about their past battles and discuss their feelings for each other. Rachel opens up to Billy about her past relationship and the loss of her girlfriend. Billy shares his own pain over the loss of his wife. Billy and Rachel spend the night together, exploring their physical connection and growing closer. As they continue to spend time together, Billy and Rachel begin to realize that they have feelings for each other. However, their relationship is threatened by a new supernatural threat, a group of vampires who have taken over a local nightclub. Billy and Rachel team up to take on the vampires, using their unique skills and powers to defeat them. After their victory, Billy and Rachel go to Rachel's apartment and make passionate love all night long. Rachel is licking all over Billy's marine tattoos and kissing his battle scars. Billy sucks Rachel's toes and kisses her thighs, and he notices Rachel's body full of burns and scars, and he kisses and licks all her scars and wounds. Billy and Rachel moaning in ecstasy. Billy and Rachel grow even closer, realizing that they make a powerful team. However, their relationship is put to the test once again when they encounter a group of possessed humans. Billy and Rachel work together to free the humans from their possession, using their combined love and experiences. As they continue to fight supernatural threats, Billy and Rachel's relationship deepens and they become a true couple. However, their happiness is short-lived when they discover that a powerful supernatural being named the Unnameable that has escaped hell is targeting Rachel. Billy and Rachel team up to take on the Unnameable, determined to protect each other and their relationship. As they face off against the Unnameable, Billy and Rachel realize that their love is stronger than any threat. Billy and Rachel realize that their love is the most powerful force in the world. Together, they defeat the Unnameable not with weapons, spells or powers. They beat the supernatural being with their love. After their victory, Billy and Rachel take some time for themselves, enjoying their newfound love and connection. The final chapter, Love Conquer All. Billy and Rachel, now married, are on their honeymoon in Japan. They explore the city and enjoy each other's company. Rachel notices a strange feeling in the air. Rachel senses the presence of supernatural entities in the area. They decide to investigate and come across a temple with a dark history. They learn about the spirits Samura and Kayako, the most powerful entities in Japan. The couple decides to confront the spirits and enter the haunted house where they reside. Rachel is nervous about Billy because he is just a human being, not a cosmic being like her. Billy had spent years in the Marines and as a veteran FBI agent hunting terrorists, serial killers and assassins. Billy tries to reassure Rachel that he is fine and says to her, "I am a man with a set of skills and kills under my belt." Rachel laughs and now trusts Billy can handle anything. They encounter the spirit of Kayako and fight to save a family trapped in the house. Rachel's cosmic powers and Billy's skills are put to the test as they battle the malevolent spirit. After defeating Kayako, they continue their search for Samara's spirit. Rachel senses the spirit's presence and they follow it to a dark well. They descend into the well and find the spirit of Samara. Rachel uses her powers to subdue the spirit, but it proves to be a formidable opponent. Billy and Rachel work together to defeat Samara's spirit. Their love and trust for each other grows stronger as they face the danger together. The spirits are defeated, and the couple emerges victorious. They celebrate their victory and continue their honeymoon, knowing they can face any challenge as long as they are together. They spend the night in a hotel, reflecting on their victory and their love for each other. Rachel opens up to Billy about her insecurities and fears. Billy reassures Rachel and they make love, their bond stronger than ever. They fall asleep in each other's arms, feeling safe and loved. The next day, they visit a shrine and pray for the souls they saved. They feel a sense of peace and fulfillment. They continue their travels, exploring more of Japan and meeting new people. Rachel finds joy in the simple things, and Billy admires her strength and grace. They come across another haunted location, and Rachel senses the presence of a powerful spirit. They decide to investigate and confront the spirit. The spirit turns out to be a powerful Oni, a demon from Japanese folklore. Rachel and Billy use their powers and skills to defeat the Oni and save the town. Rachel and Billy become local heroes and are celebrated by the townspeople. They feel proud and humbled by the experience. They continue their honeymoon, visiting more haunted locations and fighting more supernatural beings. They grow closer and learn more about each. Rachel finds a book on Japanese mythology and becomes fascinated by the stories. Billy encourages her to explore her interests, and they spend the night reading and discussing the myths. They visit a hot spring and relax in the warm water. They share their dreams and aspirations, and make a pact to always support each other. They come across a cursed artifact and decide to investigate. They find themselves in a dangerous situation, and have to use all their powers and skills to escape. They defeat the curse and destroy the artifact. They feel relieved and proud of their accomplishment. They visit a beautiful garden and enjoy the scenery. Rachel expresses her gratitude for Billy and their life together. They visit a temple and pray for their future. They feel a sense of peace and serenity. After their honeymoon, Rachel and Billy, known as the SledgeWomanHammer, embrace their erotic lifestyle, unaware of the lurking danger. A mysterious letter from Cleopatra, a seductive demon, hints at the challenges to come, and it's revealed that Cleopatra has followed Rachel from hell. She was the celestial being that sacrificed herself to reach this mortal realm. Rachel and Billy indulge in their sensual desires, but Cleopatra's presence grows stronger. The couple receives another cryptic message, raising questions about the demon's intentions. As the couple's connection deepens, Cleopatra reveals herself, tempting Billy with her seductive powers. The demon attempts to weaken their love, but Rachel and Billy remain strong. Cleopatra's true intentions unfold. She wants to destroy Rachel and Billy's love. The couple faces their first major test as they navigate the tension between their passion and the supernatural threat. The couple seeks help from an ally named Valentina, who is an ancestor of Joan of Arc, spiritual healer, who reveals Cleopatra's past and her obsession with destroying love. Rachel and Billy grow closer, vowing to protect their love and each other. Cleopatra's powers intensify, and the couple faces their most significant challenge yet. Their love is put to the ultimate test, but their bond remains unbroken. Rachel and Billy's love continues to triumph over Cleopatra's seductive powers. The demon's frustration grows, and she unleashes her full powers, determined to destroy their bond. The couple fights back, using their love as a weapon. They manage to weaken Cleopatra's powers, but the battle is far from over. In a final, intense confrontation, Rachel and Billy emerge victorious. Cleopatra is defeated, and their love is stronger than ever. With Cleopatra gone, Rachel and Billy celebrate their love and their triumph over the supernatural forces that threatened them. They live happily ever after, their love is eternal. Love conquer all. The end-ending song, Heavy in Your Arms by Florence and the Machine.